So the title and subject of this video is, what is karma? I think this is something that I should talk about and I should explore because I'm a huge proponent of actually defining things clearly and taking some time to understand a term and really explore a concept. And karma is something that's just thrown around loosely and pretty vaguely. No one really takes the time to define it. And it's really hip in New Age circles, especially like this. And it's oftentimes used as a crutch or a cop-out or things of that nature. And a lot of terms are poorly defined and just thrown around in our culture, like meditation and karma, enlightenment, nirvana. All of these words, people don't really understand their meaning, and they've been extricated and taken out of their cultural and historical context. So we kind of take them and just kind of pervert them and use them however we feel fit. So in this video, I kind of want to dispel some of that and talk about what karma really is. And basically, karma is a very simple thing to understand. Now, the common way that most people understand it is this universal law of cause and effect. So people think, oh, well, if I'm nice to everyone, then everything is going to be good for me. Or if I do some nice stuff for people, that's good karma. That's going to come back to me. I mean, maybe not. It's just this interesting law of cause and effect that people seem to buy into, which in the West, it's easy for us to see cause and effect because we were raised on, the Newtonian paradigm of, okay, nothing moves until something hits it, or, the billiard ball thing of just all these separate mechanical entities vibrating around in this physical world and bumping into each other and causing, chain reactions in a linear fashion. Now, karma isn't really that simple. It's not like you can go out and do a bunch of good deeds and then your life is paradise from then on. That's also not to say that there's not value and there's not benefits to doing good things. I mean, doing something good, it's a pretty obvious, it should be pretty obvious that it would be a beneficial thing to do, but again, it's always your attitude and your intention. If you're doing something only for the reward or only for the notoriety or the benefit, it's really not that good of a deed. I mean, the right method used in the wrong way is still incorrect and wrong. It doesn't matter. So what is karma then really? Basically, it's just our habitual thought patterns. It's our conditioned belief systems. It's basically like our reality tunnel or our reality grid. Reality in a quantum sense is this infinite wave pattern that's just pure potential. And then our belief system or our karma or our habitual thoughts or our psychological programming, just like a computer might run Mac, one computer might run Windows, our brain has an operating system and it has programs that it runs. So some programs might be I'm awesome and everyone loves me, or I suck and I'll never be good at anything, or I'm good at running, or I can never exercise because when I was in gym class I got made fun of, or all these different things. We have programs that we run in our brain, and these are foundational, and then we find experiences in reality to support that. So we have this little ball of belief or habitual thought or our story or our karma, which is all one and the same thing, and then we have this infinite wave pattern out here of so many things that are happening. 6 billion bits of data are hitting our nervous system every second, and what are we aware of? Just our karma, basically, our habituated, conditioned thought patterns. So reality is this infinite wave pattern, and our karma, our belief system, our reality tunnel, our reality grid, our operating system, our programming, all the same thing, basically takes this wave pattern and collapses it into something that we can see, into something that makes sense, which sometimes when people take psychedelic drugs like magic mushrooms, or sometimes even cannabis, sometimes LSD, things like that, it sometimes can suppress or diminish that conditioning. So that frees up all this new data that we weren't aware of. And this can be overwhelming because it's unfamiliar territory. Just like if you woke up tomorrow and you were in Japan, you'd never been there, you didn't know Japanese, you didn't know anything, you didn't know anyone, you didn't know how you got there, you'd be a little freaked out, you'd be a little scared, and you wouldn't know what to do. Just like, if you're temporarily freed from your karma or your conditioning or your usual programming, that can be scary. That's oftentimes why people are afraid of change, because they're afraid of, here's the familiar safe zone that we're used to, and then here's a step out of it, and that can be scary. And that's why sometimes we yo-yo and we go back, and why sometimes change doesn't stick is because it's new in its new territory, and it can be scary. So that's, in a nutshell, what karma is. It's, our conditioned, it's our conditioned mind, it's our conditioned thoughts, our habitual beliefs, which we can change, which we can modify. It takes energy, it takes work, it takes effort, it takes intelligence, but luckily we have so many strategies to do that we can do it. We just have to actually sit down and be conscious enough to, let down our guard a little bit, to actually face the parts of ourselves that we don't really like so much, so that we can become conscious of them and understand them, and then change them and let them go. And that's usually the hardest part, is that we have this part of us that's our shadow, that we try to hide from everyone. We keep away from everyone. We just keep it in the closet. Hopefully no one will ever see it, and we don't ever want to see it. But really, that's half of our being. That's part of us that we're suppressing and keeping away. So that's going to diminish the good that we're able to manifest. So that's the first thing. So of course, there's many different strategies that we can do: yoga, meditation, goal setting, visualization. There's so many different things, but unless we do it, we're still going to be stuck, because karma is kind of like railroad tracks, and our habitual thoughts is kind of like a railroad track, to where we came into this world like a sponge, pretty empty, except for our instinctual and automatic and unconscious functionings, like our heart beating and things like that. We came in with that, but really, from as soon as we came out of the womb, or even when we were in the womb, we were starting to soak up thoughts and belief patterns. So maybe we grew up around some parents who never had enough money. So we grew up with the belief that making money is hard, and there's not enough money to go around, and I'll never have enough, and I don't deserve enough, and the universe is not abundant, it's scary. And this is very common, because people have a lot of issues. It's like sex and money. People have a lot of issues with, which, it's all second chakra, so it makes sense in that regard. So, from that moment of in the womb till we come out, till all the way up until now, we're soaking up information. Our brain is a sponge, and it's processing data. And, if we watch a lot of TV as a kid, we soak up all those belief systems that say, you can't be happy unless you buy this stuff, or the measure and the metric of your success is material wealth, is, what we put on TV. So you have to look at all this stuff and see what you're dealing with. You have to take a look in the mirror and see, what am I working with here, and what kind of beliefs was I given? Look at your parents and say, what are their beliefs? What's their story? What's their thought pattern? And then what are their parents' thought patterns? And what's been passed down to me? Because, we are the heir to all of that. And that's all setting us up. This is all kind of, to a large degree, predetermining our life. It's, putting us in a tunnel. It's putting us on a railroad track. And unless we can, put the brakes on, and take a second and stop and examine ourselves and deal with this karma, we're just going to live the lives that they wanted for us, or that TV wanted for us, or that who knows what wanted for us. And this is what causes our unhappiness, our discontent, our disconnection, our, pretty much all of our emotional imbalances, which, it's an entirely different topic of, some people believe that we have a dharma. We have karma on the one hand, which is our conditioned mind, but we have our dharma, which is like our purpose, our mission, our reason for being. So, the two tend to bump up against each other. So once we can let go of the karma, the dharma isn't really going to have itself really easy to manifest. And, I can talk about dharma in another video more in depth, but really, if we're living our dharma, we're going to feel better, we're going to be happier, we're going to feel more of ourself, we're going to feel, just more at peace and grounded, and, let go of all of this disempowered behavior that comes along with just being stuck in our conditioned mind. So what's my favorite technique to really burn this karma, to really let this karma go? For me right now, and for the last couple months, has been the 6 Healing Sounds, and that's at 6healingsounds.com. And this basically uses meditation and sound and visualization and intention to dig into the organs where our karma is stored, where our emotional trauma and patterns and habits are stored, and uses sound and these other techniques to really take that, transform it, and let it go, so that we can have the freedom away from that karma, away from that conditioning, to allow ourselves to create whatever we want to create, to clean out the negative so we can have more room for the positive.